And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Educational Gamer and we are playing Strategic Command as the Allies in war against the Axis. Last time we did see the German attack on the Soviet lines, which were barely holding. But we also saw, but now this time we do the turn for the Western Allies. So let's have a brief look on Iran over here. So it looks like we are getting about 27 points for the British over here by occupying the southern fields, and even some points over here for the Soviets, which I very much appreciate, because the Soviets really need those points. Good. So let's start out with the UK, and let's start out in Eastern Africa for a little bit of a change. I'm not sure why you're red, but ultimately our goal still is to break through at some point over here. So can I actually reinforce you? Yeah, you can, and you should. You can't be. So let's try to break through over here. Slowly whittle them down. And you need to be reinforced. Okay. And down here, Mogadishu should be promising. We might be able to do something. Yes, indeed, we are able to take them out. Can we move into Mogadishu? Yes, we can. That's lovely. So these guys should be starving and out of supply soon. So yeah, let's continue our pressure on these guys. So that's a very nice win over there. Now that only means we need to take on these guys, which is still enough pressure as is, but that should be alright. Let's turn our eyes towards Northern Africa and see the situation up here. So we do have some Italian fleets kicking around. We do have these submarines, we do have these destroyers. On the other hand, we do have a naval bomber squadron, but I do think it makes sense to try to sink these destroyers first. Do take some damage in the meantime. We do have our carriers. We could potentially do a lot of damage on these submarines, but is that necessarily the best thing for us to do right now? I mean, the submarines are not inherently a big threat, so let's firstly try to look at what's going on with the Germans down here. So our lines are somewhat exposed. We are not exactly able to deal a lot of damage on these guys, even with our special forces over here. Nevertheless, let's reinforce you to the max. So we reinforce our tanks. Can't actually do that, so let's simply attack over there. I think our our tactical bombers over here need to be reinforced. We'll keep our artillery unengaged for now, and I guess our anti-tank guns should be reinforced. Yeah. So kind of quiet turn over here. Could attack with these guys and then move in the tanks. But again, do we need to do that? How is the supply situation down here for? Let's move up these units so that they can recover a little bit over there. And that should be that. Ground attacks don't really seem to do much against these Germans, so let's try to engage the submarine. Ooh, very nice. Hit over there. Another hit, maybe? Well, they have moved out of range. Let's try to find them again. There we go, there they are. Can't attack with you, but we could potentially attack with the maritime bombers. There they are again, but they might be out of range now. Yeah, they are. Our maritime bombers could attack something else, but they're not really built for that, so I think that's fine. But we can potentially move them up a little. At least get them towards Tobruk. And that should be alright. Can we reinforce this battleship? Just slightly. Likewise probably with this battle cruiser. But you know what we could do is we could get the battle cruiser a little bit better naval weapons. And I think that's not a bad idea. On the other hand, these destroyers and battleships, I would like to move them home, because I think they do need to be reinforced a little bit more than was apparently possible over here. So yeah, let's get you towards the naval base in Gibraltar, and that should be fine. This battleship, yeah, let's reinforce that so that we can reduce the supplies of the Italians down here. And the heavy cruisers, you could try to shell their positions. That'd be slightly bad for them. Oh, there's an artillery. Interesting. Yeah, let's do that. That's fine. And you can be reinforced. Thank you. Let's leave our carrier over here. Let's try to bring it into here. And conduct some strikes on these submarines. Ooh, look at that. Tactical bombers. Could try to attack them with our fighters. Our fighters could just generally strafe a lot of these guys. But it wouldn't be too effective. So yeah, let's hold off on that for now. Let's take instead our transport fleet over here. Bring it over here and unload it in Tobruk. So that is nice, because now we have another tank army, tank division down here. And that should be somewhat useful. Can you actually attack? I think you probably did already, didn't you? Submarine? You didn't attack. Well. Bring the light cruise over there. Yeah, you attack. Okay, that's fine. That does settle Northern Africa. So let's think about the situation up here. I think we dealt with. Then we do have a couple of destroyers over here that they might simply go home. Try to find some enemy submarines. Now we know about a couple of submarines. One over here, one over there. And since we do have better anti-submarine warfare technology, we can at the very least hope that they are doing some damage by doing this. I think these Canadians simply will cover the lines as such. Then we do have a couple of Canadians over here. Can we upgrade you? Yes, we can. That's nice. Let's do that now. These destroyers up here. I mean, we know about that submarine up there, so we might be able to find it probably next turn. Not so much this turn, really. But yeah, next turn. Let's try to bring our forces into the vicinity to keep an eye on that, if possible at all. Good, so that does settle it for these guys. These heavy cruisers, I guess, can just continue to watch the naval lines. And then these destroyers can the reverse shift over here, and you guys will likewise come up over there. So over here then we do have these naval bombers, so let's try to attack these submarines over there, doing some damage, not too much. Now they are diving. Did find them again. So we do have fighters who could do further damage. We do have these maritime bombers, but I think you don't even have the anti-submarine warfare upgrade. So how much damage could you do? You could do a little bit. So let's do that now. Yeah, doing some damage, and that is nice. How about the fighters? Let's try to strafe them. Yeah, but that was only one potential attack. So yeah, other than that, no one really over here can engage. So let's bring in the destroyers. Yeah, and they have died from attack. We should potentially reinforce the aircraft over here so that these carriers come back into play decisively, and that should be fine. The battleships are no good against submarines, so we will keep them where they are. And that does leave a couple of destroyers over here. Let's bring them sort of over there so they can start to look on enemy submarines. Our submarines over here need to be reinforced, and that is fine. I think you tried to deal with that already. Good. So, over here, the submarines. Let's strike them with our carrier. I don't think there's much else that does deserve our attention in the to the same extent. Must be around somewhere. There we go. Why are we not even doing damage on it? Ah, over there. Well, the battleships could come in, but they're really not built for attacking submarines, so I'd rather not do that. Neither is the heavy cruiser. We could upgrade you to slightly better naval weaponry. Feels a little bit costly to do so for us right now. So I'm still somewhat debating internally whether we'd want to do a naval attack on Norway while Germany is busy fighting in the east. It still doesn't feel like it's a very bad idea. We do have quite a couple of battleships and all that arranged over here. Okay, that was the submarine. I did not expect that. Okay, let's bring it towards the back then. So, I actually knew it was there. Anyway, okay, so yeah, all in all the UK seems to be doing fine then, I think. At the very least over here. We do have some destroyers over there as well. I think it's time to bring you towards over here so that you can start to deal with these guys as well. Yeah, other than that you are fine. We'll keep the heavy cruiser in port for now, and then next time we'll be sending the submarines over there against the Germans again. Can't really buy anything with the UK, but what we can do is do some diplomacy. And as the UK specifically, what I think we might want to do is look at Spain over here and maybe try to prevent Spain from swinging too much into the Axis direction. So we'll spend a couple of points over here. It's not actually too expensive, and that way we might be able to swing them slightly towards our direction. Very, very slightly actually. But all in all, I'm still happy to do that. Right, did deal with this area. Actually, these guys can probably start to move back then. Well, we'll keep them around for one turn so that they can attack over there. All of these heavy cruisers, light cruisers are fine where they are. Could start to gather a little bit our Anzac forces. But I think they might be able to actually be rallied against some Japanese if that is required. Okay, so let's deal with China, or let's deal with Japan as China. So firstly do an attack down here. Moderately successful at the very best. Move the army down here. You're doing much better at this, so that I appreciate. Move you back in over here. Move on Hanoi as well. Move you there. You can also come in and start an attack. Nearly brought these guys down. But you can't move out, can you? No, you cannot. That's a little bit sad, but still fine. I think we rather want to garrison Hanoi rather than Canton. And you know what? I think you'll be we'll stick to the plan and keep these guys to come around over there and attack there. We'll ignore these guys for a second and instead look on the situation over here in Korea and assorted areas, where we can apparently move into Seijin unopposed, which I appreciate very much. And then you can move further, so that is nice. Let's actually do that and see what else we can do over here. Move up these guys, attack the headquarters. That's fine. Do have some fighters over here. Let's attack these bombers, or naval bombers. And you are capable of doing that, so that is lovely. You I guess can move on to Pyongyang. You'll be over here. Fighters will be moving up. You're guarding Port Arthur. That's fine. So we can advance further down into Manchuria. Conduct some attacks on Helsinki over here. Which is not only a national morale objective, but which will also be very crucial for our supply lines. Can I move you up? Okay, let's move you up over here. And then I can bring in this army over here. Advance this army. Take out the army. Take out the Japanese army. Move in. Occupy all of that area. That is fine. And very lovely. So you'll be coming up over here. So you should actually try to come in over there, but I don't think there's going to be much supply. It's actually not that bad. Whoop. Come on. Like such. And then we have you can attack. So let's start with the special forces. Attack with you. Ooh, very nice. Did not expect to be able to do this over here. So special forces over there and you over here. Yeah. So yeah, pushing in much more aggressively now. But all in all, I'm happy to do so. Since, yeah, the enemy is on a back footing, really. Good. This corps we can bring in towards these fronts over here. This army in Shanghai we'll keep where it is. Some of these forces are just really kicking about. Let's bring them in towards industrial centers and such. Even though it's not really required. I think mostly you're fine, so we'll have difficulties attacking Japan anywhere on the naval front, at the very least as long as they're not engaged against the US. So, and we can't really build up naval forces as nationalist China, it's just not something that is very possible. Could look at Burma, could look at rallying more forces down here. I think that's potentially the best thing for us to do. Bring in some forces simply towards that direction, because we are expecting some aggressiveness potentially from Siam over here. And that might be worthwhile taking into account. Good. Okay, so that does settle it for you. But you do have some more units, which I appreciate also. Actually, can you guys here move out of Shanghai for a second? So yeah, then I can place a garrison unit in there, which just feels a little bit more final. And likewise here on Tsingtao, we will be placing one of our garrison units. There we go. And the tanks in Halifax can actually deploy to Halifax, I guess. Ranger forces should deploy to the west coast, because we are expecting them to be taking on the lead, and these Indian divisions we will deploy down here. Fine. That does settle it for new units. Do we want to purchase anything as nationalist China? Light cruisers. I mean, we could buy one, but what is it gonna do against the might of the Japanese naval forces? Some tanks, some heavy artillery, anti-air units. I think tactical bombers might be better, but actually we need medium bombers because we don't really have anything else. So at that point we might take on Taiwan over here. Oh. Have I not attacked with you? Okay, that's weird. Let's attack the bombers. Yeah, I think that's fine for China. So, the USA. How far are you along with production technology? 63%. After we've reached the next level of this, I want to start buying a lot of things. You are researching advanced weapons. You are researching advanced fighters, naval weaponry. All of that is good. You do have naval warfare. That is good and fine as well. And on spying and intel you're fairly far ahead as well. But you know what? I think I want to spend a little bit more on this. I know it's a little bit inefficient because we'll overshoot the target. But that way we can snowball out of that a little bit more quickly. And that should be fine. Getting up to advanced fighter level 3 over here. And here we will be getting to 4. You'll be getting a little bit of a boost over here. And the industrial technology will also help. Not much happening for the Soviet Union except for command and control, which is a very, very important tech for us. And armored warfare might actually be very good as well. As would advanced fighters. Many things would be good. Logistics I don't think is required. Production technology might be nice, but yeah, there's no way we are spending that for these forces. And India is also doing okay over there with infantry weapons. India might actually be looking to do some more infantry weapons. Now you are spending 1 and that would put you at level 2, so that's fine. Okay, very lovely. That does settle it for our turn. Let's briefly look ahead at everything else. Looks fine so far. I think what the US could do is potentially upgrade a couple of things. So again, these fighters, so put them on a little bit better footing. These special forces, we could upgrade their infantry weapons at the very least. And then these fighters, submarines and all of that might be upgraded as well. So the carriers, how much does it cost to upgrade you? 71. I'm not sure whether that is cheaper once we do the new level of production technology. So let's do this one for now. And then we'll know later on whether it will cost more or less than 71 points. But that way we do have some forces ready. And I guess we can do something similar on this front as well. By these destroyers don't need to be upgraded. The battleship should maybe be upgraded, just to get some more oomph that way, and that's fine. Good. I'm pretty happy with the results as they are. This is Greece, so that has surrendered, I think. Right? Interesting. We need to reinforce our naval forces down here. So I think what I should maybe do is ask these guys to come up over here that way and come towards the Mediterranean, so we are effectively swapping these guys out. Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. So these guys will be going to the UK and these guys will simply replace them as Force H on Gibraltar. And then likewise, after they've arrived, we'll sort of shuffle troops back and forth that way. And that should be fine. Good. So, next time we will be trying to see what the Germans are doing down here in South Africa. Is it a good trade? I don't know. Down here in South Africa, we'll also be trying to finally push in these guys more and more on the Italian side, We were very successful against the Italian Navy. Did we move you? Yes, we did. And of course, the most important thing is we will try to see how well or not the lines over here will hold. It is September, so once it's the German turn, it will be end of September, and then we'll be done in middle of October. And end of October might already be very late for the Germans, so I'm hopeful that at that point we might be able to hold them off a little bit better. Let's briefly look at the situation for sort of the rest of 1941. The Russians will get another army, a garrison in September. By middle of October, a tank division, which might be ours already. And then some further troops in November, December. Not gonna be enough, but at least gonna be helpful. UK. Some troops in September 41. Yeah, and the Americans simply get a lot of forces. So yeah, that's fine. Very good. Very much looking forward to bringing in the US fully to the war, which shouldn't take too long. I'm interested to see whether Japan will actually conduct a strike now that they have all but lost in China. Of course, we will need to clear out still Vietnam, but I do actually look forward to that, and I think it should improve our situation significantly. But let's see whether the Japanese will conduct a strike on the Americans over there. For now, I very much like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.